Pastor Roy Gerhardt from Galloway United Methodist Church in Franklin, Pennsylvania, sharing a few words of encouragement to help us follow after Jesus. Well, life can be cold and bitter, especially when it's marked by division and heartache that brings a hardening to our hearts, leaves us with bitterness and resentment instead of the warmth of love and compassion. Many people live in situations where this defines them. Families torn apart, marriages ruined, friendships broken. All of that leaves us with a multitude of hurts and scars and struggles. We've been following the story of Jacob and Esau, and their story is marked by all of those features. Jacob has been a cheat. His name, holding on to the heel, has been a description of his characters. He's cheated his brother and angered and embittered him so much that Esau was ready to kill Jacob, and Jacob had to exit, get away from him. They spent years apart. Something like 20 years have passed, and they've not seen or spoken to each other. You got to wonder what the end of that story is going to be. Jacob, we've watched grow throughout these years, from his first real encounter with God as he traveled on the road, and he had a sense of being in the presence of God, called that place of encounter the house of God. And then on the way back home, the night before he is to meet his brother Esau, it is so intense that he wrestled with God, and God gave him this chance to actually physically wrestle with him. And God noted that as a moment of change. He marked it with the change of Jacob's name from Jacob, the heel grabber, to Israel, the man who's grabbed hold of God, a man who wrestles with God and who holds on. No longer holding on to your heel, he's holding on to God. Jacob is changing. But the question still remains about Esau. And you have to be wondering, what's the outcome? What's going to happen between these two brothers when they meet? Jacob sent gifts forward to his brother, and then sends some of his family out. But ultimately, Jacob then came along with his two wives and their children, and we're told that he bowed down 7 times to the ground in front of his brother. As he approached him, he actually got physically down on the ground and bowed to his brother. There's something that he wants to display to his brother with gifts and with posture and with all of his manners. He wants to say, I want a different relationship with you, Esau. I want to make amends. I want to show my humility. And you're wondering, what's Esau going to do? Well, Esau is moved with compassion and mercy and forgiveness. He rushed to his brother and embraced him. These two brothers who have been divided for so long with so much heartache, have given up so much, are now weeping on each other. It's a beautiful ending to this story. And I tell you that God is always working for that kind of closure, that kind of a finish to our lives. When Jesus came into the world, he came into the world physically. You see, it wasn't just when God physically wrestled with Jacob, but God physically came into this world to rescue all of us, to wrestle with our sin. And there he laid down his life. We don't always lay down our lives in death. Jacob laid down his life before his brother with humility, bowing down before him. And Christ came and laid down his life for us. And when we come before him, like Jacob, with humility, with a broken heart, and a desire to be changed, God is there with mercy to raise us up, to make us new, give us a new name, a new identity in our lives, set things on course in a whole new pathway. God does that to reconcile with us, and He works in our lives diligently, day in, day out, in the hope and the aim that we might find peace with each other as well. Some of our relationships never are restored fully, but God is always working that your heart and mind would be ready for that restoration, that we wouldn't be hardened, calloused, and cold, but that there would be a warmth in our hearts always, even for our enemies. May God bless you today with His mercy and grace. And as you share this good news, may God make you a blessing wherever He takes you.